This is a story about a man who thought he stole gold, but stole time instead. He was desperate, broke, tired of losing every day. He believed one small mistake could fix his life, but time is not like money. It remembers who touched it, and it always comes back to collect. Welcome to Tales by Steph, a home of interesting African stories. Jonah Okori was 32 years old, and fear had followed him all his life. He grew up knowing hunger, knowing shame, knowing how it feels when life keeps pushing your head underwater and never lets you breathe. He lived alone in a small one-room apartment in Kubwa, Abuja. The walls were cracked, the roof leaked when it rained. At night, rats scratched behind the ceiling. Sometimes Jonah slept with one eye open. He cleaned hospital floors at night and washed plates in a roadside restaurant during the day. He slept 3 hours most nights. He owed almost everyone he knew. His landlord wanted him out. His mother needed drugs. His younger sister needed school fees. Jonah was tired of being poor, tired of begging, tired of praying and getting silence in return. That night he was not meant to be in the mortuary. His supervisor had sent him there last minute. "Just mop and leave," the man said. "No touching anything." Jonah had agreed. He started mopping and heard a sound. He saw a drawer half open.
Who's
He
there?
looked closer. Inside lay the body of a man in an expensive dark suit. The man's skin was pale, his lips slightly open, his face calm like someone sleeping after a long day. On his wrist was a gold watch, bright, clean, shining. But standing there now, staring at the dead man, Jonah felt something pull him closer. The watch glowed softly under the white light. Tick. Jonah frowned. Watches were not supposed to tick this loud. He leaned in. The dead man's eyes followed him. Jonah screamed and jumped back, hitting his shoulder against the wall. "Jesus!" he cried. The eyes did not blink. They did not move again. Jonah pressed his hand to his chest, breathing fast. "Hallucination," he said. "You're just hallucinating." He wiped his face and tried to walk away. Then the watch slipped. It slid off the dead man's wrist by itself and fell to the floor. The sound echoed. Jonah stared at the watch on the floor. He did not bend to pick it up. Not yet. The watch face was still ticking, but the hands were spinning wildly, forward, then backward, then stopping. Jonah felt cold crawl up his legs. "Who are you?" he whispered to the body. The dead man did not answer. Jonah bent slowly and picked up the watch. The moment his fingers touched it, the ticking stopped. The room went quiet, too quiet. Jonah felt a sharp pain flash through his head, and for one short second he saw something that was not there. A crowded road, a black SUV, blood on glass, a man screaming Jonah's name, even though Jonah had never met him. Jonah gasped and dropped the watch. It hit the floor again. Jonah picked it up once more, breathing hard. "I'm sorry," he said without knowing why. I just need help." The watch felt warm, alive. Jonah looked at the dead man again. The eyes were now closed. Jonah swallowed. "I'll return it," he lied. "I swear." He slid the watch into his pocket. Behind him, the mortuary drawer slammed shut. Outside the hospital, the night felt wrong. The sky was too dark, the air too heavy. Jonah walked fast like something was following him. Every few steps he touched his pocket to feel the watch. Still there, still warm. At the bus stop, Jonah checked his phone. 2:11 a.m. The watch ticked loudly inside his pocket. He pulled it out. The time was also 2:11 a.m. Jonah laughed nervously. "That's normal," he said. "Coincidence." The watch vibrated. The second hand stopped. The minute hand began to move backward. Jonah's smile faded. A voice whispered behind him, "Give it back." Jonah turned. No one was there. The bus arrived. Jonah stepped in. and the doors locked behind him. Jonah turned quickly and grabbed the handle. It didn't move. "Driver," he called. The driver did not answer. Jonah looked around. The bus was full when he entered. Now every seat was empty. Every single one. Only Jonah sat at the back. The bus kept moving. The road outside looked unfamiliar. Tall trees leaned over the road, their branches forming dark shapes like hands reaching down. No street lights, no houses, no sound except the low growl of the engine. Jonah's mouth went dry. "This is
Driver,
not my
I said
route,"
this is not my
he
route.
whispered. The watch vibrated violently in his hand. The sound was loud now. Too loud. Jonah stood up and staggered toward the driver. "Stop the bus," he shouted. "Please, stop." The driver slowly turned his head. Jonah froze. The man had no face, just smooth skin where eyes, nose, and mouth should be. Jonah screamed and fell backward. The bus lights went out. The engine died. Everything went black. Jonah woke up on the floor of his room. Sunlight poured in through the broken curtain. His head hurt badly. His body felt heavy like he had been beaten. He pushed himself up slowly. "I'm alive," he whispered. "I'm alive." The room was normal, his small fan, his cracked mirror. But something was wrong. The watch was on his wrist. Jonah stared at it. He was sure he didn't put it on. Slowly, he tried to remove it. It wouldn't come off. He pulled harder. Pain shot through his arm like fire. Jonah cried out and released it. The pain stopped immediately. His breathing became fast. "Okay," he said, forcing calm. "Okay. Calm down." He checked the time. 2:11 a.m. Jonah frowned. "That's not possible." He grabbed his phone. No signal, no time, no date. Just a black screen. The watch ticked louder. Jonah looked into the mirror. He stepped back in shock. His face looked older, not by years, by something else. His eyes looked tired in a deep way, like someone who had seen too much. His skin looked dull. His shoulders looked heavier. He touched his face. It was real. A knock came at the door. Jonah jumped. "Jonah!" his landlord shouted. "My friend, open this door." Jonah's heart raced. He quickly threw on a shirt and opened the door. The landlord stood there with two other men. "You think I'm joking?" the landlord barked. "You are owing me 3 months." Jonah swallowed. "I go pay today, no vex a beg," he said without thinking. The landlord laughed. "Today? With which money? You ain't no get money." Jonah looked at the watch. "I go get he said. "Just give me today." The landlord stared at him strangely. "You look strange," the man said. "Are you sick?" Jonah shook his head. "I'll pay," he repeated. The landlord spat on the ground. "By evening," he said, "or you go comet for this house." They left. Jonah locked the door and leaned against it, breathing hard. "What have I done?" he whispered. The watch ticked. Jonah decided to go back to the hospital. He needed answers. As he walked down the street, people stared at him. Some moved away. Jonah stopped one man. "Why are you looking at me like that?" he asked. The man's eyes widened. "Ah, you didn't know?" he asked. "Know what?" "You look like someone who died yesterday," the man whispered. Jonah's blood ran cold. He rushed away. At the hospital gate, the security guard blocked him. "You can't enter," the man said. "I work here," Jonah replied. The guard stared at him. "Not you," he said. "The other one." Jonah frowned. "What other one?" The guard pointed. Jonah turned. His legs almost gave way. A man stood a few meters away. Same height, same face, same clothes. It was Jonah, but older, colder. The man looked at Jonah and smiled. Jonah screamed. When he blinked, the man was gone. The guard frowned. "Are you okay?" he asked. Jonah ran. That evening, Jonah sold the watch. Or so he thought. He met a man in a dark shop who agreed to buy it. The man counted money. A lot of money. Enough to pay his rent. Enough to help his family. Jonah felt relief for the first time. The man reached for the watch. The moment his fingers touched it, he screamed. His skin darkened. His eyes sank in. He dropped dead. Just like that, Jonah nearly fell. The shop went dark. When the light returned, the man was gone. The money was gone. The watch was back on Jonah's wrist. Ticking. "You cannot sell what is not yours," a voice whispered. Jonah collapsed to the floor. Jonah understood one thing. The watch did not want money. It wanted something else. And it would take it, second by second. The next morning he woke up with his head heavy and his mouth dry. The room smelled strange, like dust and cold metal. For a moment he did not know where he was. Then he remembered. The watch. He sat up quickly and checked the time. 7:30 a.m. He nodded. That made sense. He usually woke up around that time after night shifts. He stood up, walked to the small bathroom, brushed his teeth, and splashed water on his face. When he returned to the room, his phone buzzed. A missed call. 3 missed calls. All from his supervisor. Jonah frowned and checked the time again. 9:02 a.m. His heart dropped. "That's not possible," he whispered. He looked around the room. Nothing looked disturbed. His bed was still unkept. The door was locked. No sign that 2 hours had passed. But they had. Jonah touched the watch. It ticked calmly. "Where did the time go?" Jonah asked softly. The watch did not answer. At the hospital, Jonah felt eyes on him everywhere. Nurses whispered when he passed. Doctors paused mid-conversation. One nurse, Aisha, finally stopped him. "Jonah, are you okay?" she asked slowly. Jonah forced a smile. "Yes, why?" Aisha hesitated. "You collapsed at work," she said, "right inside the storeroom." Jonah's heart jumped. "That's not true," he said quickly. "I went home." Aisha shook her head. "No, you were here. They carried you to the emergency room." Jonah felt dizzy. "That's not possible," he repeated. Aisha's voice dropped. "You were talking in your sleep," she added. "You kept saying, 'Give it back.'" Jonah's chest tightened. "How long?" he asked. Aisha looked uncomfortable. "From midnight till morning." Jonah felt cold. He had been awake. He remembered going home. Or at least, he thought he did. By evening, Jonah noticed something worse. People struggled to remember him. The food seller downstairs stared at him like a stranger. "Madam, it's me," Jonah said. "Jonah, I dey buy food here every day." The woman squinted. "Sorry," she said slowly. "I no remember you, ooh." Jonah laughed nervously. "You dey joke, Abby." She shook her head. "I dey serious." He walked away, his heart pounding. That night, Jonah dreamt. He stood inside the mortuary. The drawer opened by itself. The dead man sat up slowly. The man removed the watch from Jonah's wrist. "You don't own time," the man said. "You borrowed it." Jonah tried to scream. Nothing came out. He woke up choking. His room was dark. The watch showed 2:11 a.m. Jonah's breathing slowed. That number again. "Why 2:11?" he whispered. The mirror across the room fogged up. Words appeared on the glass. "Return what is not yours," Jonah screamed and smashed the mirror. The words disappeared. But the message stayed in his head. Jonah tried to return the watch. He went back to the hospital mortuary. The security guard stopped him. "You're not allowed here," the man said. "I work here," Jonah replied. The guard shook his head. "Jonah Okori died last night." The world tilted. "What?" Jonah whispered. The guard looked serious. "A cleaner collapsed during night shift. They said his heart stopped." Jonah felt weak. "That's impossible," he said. "I'm standing here." The guard stared at him. Then his eyes widened. "You look like him," the man whispered. Jonah ran. By the third day, Jonah began to fade. His reflection sometimes disappeared from mirrors. His shadow moved when he didn't. People stopped hearing his voice. He shouted at a bus conductor who walked past him like air. "Hey!" Jonah yelled. Nothing. The watch ticked faster now. His chest hurt. His memories felt loose, like they were slipping away. That night, the dead man appeared fully. He stood at the foot of Jonah's bed, cold. "You lived on my time," the man said calmly. Jonah cried. "I didn't know," he begged. "I was desperate." The man nodded. "I know." He raised his wrist. An invisible watch glowed. "You took my last hour," the man said, "and time does not forgive theft." Jonah shook. "What do I do?" he cried. The man stepped closer. "Give it back." Jonah grabbed his wrist and pulled. The watch refused to move. The man smiled sadly. "You waited too long." The room went dark. The ticking stopped. In the darkness, Jonah felt himself falling through memories, through moments he never lived, through time that was never his. The last thing he heard was the sound of a watch being removed. "Please," Jonah whispered. "I'm sorry." The darkness answered with silence. Then, a sound. Tick. Jonah opened his eyes. He was standing in the mortuary again, but this time it was not empty. Every drawer was open. Every drawer held a body. Men, women, young, old. All of them wore watches, different kinds, different colors, all ticking. The sound was deafening. Jonah stepped back in fear. "What is this place?" he cried. A voice answered from behind him. "This is where stolen time ends." Jonah turned slowly. The dead man stood there again, calm, clean, untouched. His eyes were gentle but firm. "You're not angry," Jonah said, confused. The man nodded. "Anger wastes time," he replied. Jonah fell to his knees. "I didn't mean to steal," he sobbed. "I was tired of suffering." The man walked closer. "So was I," he said quietly. Jonah looked up. The man continued. "I worked hard. I planned my life. I saved money. I wore that watch to remind myself that time mattered." He paused. "Then I lost my life in one moment." Jonah trembled. "You took my watch," the man said, "but what you truly took was my last hour, my goodbye, my chance." Jonah cried harder. "I didn't know," he said again. The man nodded. "That is how most sins begin." The dead man raised his hand. The gold watch appeared in the air between them. It ticked softly. "You have one choice," the man said. Jonah looked up quickly. "Anything," he begged. "I'll do anything." The man's eyes met his. "You must return what you stole," he said. "Not just the watch, the time." Jonah swallowed. "How?" The man's voice lowered. "You will give back every hour you lived on my time." Jonah's heart pounded. "That means—" "Yes," the man said. "You will disappear." Jonah froze. Fear filled him. Not fear of pain, fear of being forgotten. "No one will remember me," Jonah whispered. The man nodded. "That is the price." Jonah thought of his mother, his sister. Their faces returned for a moment. "They'll suffer," Jonah said. The man shook his head. "Your suffering will end theirs," he said. "Time repays honestly." Jonah closed his eyes. For the first time, he did not argue. "Do it," he said softly. The watch stopped ticking. Everything froze. The bodies, the air, the sound. The man placed the watch on Jonah's wrist one last time. "Thank you," the man said. Jonah felt warmth spread through him, then cold, then nothing. Morning came. In a small hospital room, a cleaner's body lay still on a bed. Doctors shook their heads. "Cardiac arrest," one said. "Happened quietly." A nurse covered the body with a sheet. No watch was found, no valuables, just a man who looked peaceful. Across town, Jonah's mother woke up suddenly. Her chest felt lighter. Her cough was gone. She stood up slowly, surprised. Jonah's sister received a message. Her school fees had been paid, fully. No name, no sender, just paid. In the mortuary, the dead man finally rested. His watch lay back on his wrist, ticking normally. Time is restored.
This is the morals of the story. What is not yours may look like a blessing, but it can carry a curse. Desperation can push good people into bad choices, but only honesty brings peace. Time is the most expensive thing in life. Once stolen or wasted, it must be paid for. Hi guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and comment for more interesting stories. Bye bye.